What's up, y'all? Welcome back to my channel. I am your girl Molinda Jae, and I'm here to give you all a follow up on the battle between Disney and Desantis. Okay, so let's go ahead and get right into this thing. I am so glad my voice is back, girl, because that was one of the things that kept me from recording videos, especially on the main channel, which was my dang voice. Like, it went away after the seasonal cold of the things. So this is coming from USA Today, and I have not read the full article, so we gonna read along together. Feel free to chime down in the comment section below if you like this read along segments with me, where I am basically reading the darn article for you all, so it can save y'all the heartache of just reading the darn thing. We can read and read it. We can read along together, and we can dissect this stuff and continue the conversation down in the comment section. All right, so as you can see here, we have the Florida governor Ron DeSantis, and in the background we have the iconic Disney silhouette of the castle. And this is basically explained per USA Today graphic timelines stating the linked bitterness of Disney and DeSantis dispute. What's become of the prolonged legal battle? Florida's Ron DeSantis and Disney World exchange a fury of criticism and lawsuits. Now, as I stated before in my previous video with Disney versus DeSantis, is that, I said it not only Disney was going through transitions with the layoffs and the mergers, and allowing the content to be from the creators and not from or other sources, something like that. On top of Bob Iger returning from his hiatus, whatever he was doing in hiatus at the time, to be CEO of Disney, I guess. And I guess he missed that good old check, and he was like, "Let me return my butt back to Disney so I can, remain and keeping the payroll going, or deposit my check," in the words of Armand Wiggins, in this large fat check in my bank account. So yeah, let's go ahead and go through this timeline. It says, why are Disney World and the state of Florida, led by Governor Ron DeSantis, a probable Republican nominee for the 2024 presidential election, suing and countersuing each other? Update on that, Mr. DeSantis did call upon his candidates. He did make an announcement via Twitter, via Elon Musk, that he was running for presidency. So he is definitely put his hat in becoming the nominee or running for president. Okay. Furthermore, into this article, it says DeSantis says Disney is pursuing a political agenda and that no corporation is above the law. In a 77-page lawsuit filed in April, Disney said DeSantis is retaliating against the corporation. It started in 2022 when Disney opposed Florida's Parental Rights and Education Bill, labeled by critics as the Don't Say GAY bill, even though that word means happy. Okay? Even though this particular word here means happy. All right? Which limited discussion of LGBTQIA plus issues and gender identity in schools, that escalated into a series of partisan exchanges. The educational bill attracted national attention and much criticism, which Disney, the state's largest private employer, joined. DeSantis signed the bill into law, increasing opposition. Florida revoked Disney's special tax status and replaced it with a board DeSantis controlled. Disney responded by stripping the new board of its power. Both sides continue to file lawsuits. Here is how the dispute evolved. So I wonder where the money is coming from when DeSantis is filing a lawsuit against Disney, because Disney got that coin. They got that long money. Okay, they got that old long money. So I wonder where the money is coming from when it comes to DeSantis filing a lawsuit against Disney. All right, let's continue. 2022, March 8th, Florida passes Don't Say GAY bill, okay? Florida lawmakers passed the Wide Range Parental Rights in Education bill, which prohibits public school teachers from talking about sexual orientation and gender identity in kindergarten to third grade. The bill also limits undefined age-appropriate discussions in other grades. Critics call the measures Don't Say This Word bill and say it would stigmatize LGBTQ children and prevent them from talking about their lives and families in public classrooms. So what happens if they come to like an event or something and the kid asks a question about their parents, especially if they're the same loving household? That's going to be interesting. On March 9th, Disney announces support for the LGBT community. After Disney employees complained about the company's lack of reaction to the bill, CEO Bob Chapek tells the shareholders he called DeSantis and expressed disappointment and concern that the bill could be used to target gay, lesbian, non-binary, and transgender kids and families. And if you have not checked out my previous video about Texas Children's Hospital, as well as the legislator of Texas is they have a Senate Bill 14 that is basically discontinuing the treatments for transgender kids. Okay, so be sure to check that out, because not only the families will have to possibly travel out to seek those services, but they possibly have to move out, and that's very costly as well. So not only that they will not be able to live freely like they would want to in the state of Texas, the state of Florida could be out of the picture as well. All right, so here's an illustration of the former CEO Bob Chapek and Governor DeSantis about Disney being in support of their LGBT community, because they do have employees that are within that community as well, and it's affecting them as well as their business. Chapek also says Disney will sign the Human Rights Campaign statement opposing laws targeting the LGBTQ community and will give $5 million to organizations fighting them. In response, DeSantis lashes out at Disney. You have companies like Disney that are going to say and criticize parents' rights. They're going to criticize the fact that we don't want the transgenderism in kindergarten and first grade classes. DeSantis tells a group of supporters in a video obtained by Fox News Digital. The Human Rights Campaign later says it will refuse money from Disney until we see them build on their public commitment to work with the LGBTQ plus advocates to ensure that dangerous proposals like Florida's Don't Say JY or Trans Bill don't become dangerous laws, and if they do, work to get them off the books. So here is the poll of Disney being more popular than DeSantis. And the question was how people respond when asked, how favorable are you to Disney compared to Ron DeSantis? Disney is in the gray and DeSantis is in the red. I like how they did that. Okay, cool. So Disney is ahead overall, 64%. It's Democrat 82%, Republican 43%, Independent 66%, Black people 79%, Hispanic 70%, Whites 59%, AAPI, Asian American Pacific Islander, to be specific, okay? Excuse me. They are at 74%. Compared to DeSantis, he is at 35%, Democrat at 8%, Independent 25%, Republican 67%, Independent, I did read Independent, 25%, Black people or Blacks 18%, Hispanics 25%, Whites 39%, and AAIP 27%. So that gives you good graphics of who does the collective is in favor of. And this was taken, or the source is from navigatorresearch.org, and it was a survey of 1,000 adults conducted between April 20th to the 24th. Okay. Moving right along, March 10th, Disney halts GOP contributions because, again, Florida is a swing state, y'all. If you have not known that already, Florida is one of those key states that politicians are needing to win the elections, and Florida is very critical. It is considered a swing state. Okay, now it says on the 10th of March, Chapek tells employees that Disney is halting all political contributions in Florida. In other words, they are not backing not a dang thing to these politicians until they get it right. On March 22nd, Disney workers strike on behalf of the LGBTQ rights. So, it says Disney employees around the country stage walkouts in support of the LGBTQ rights and called on Disney to support LGBTQ employees. Chapek announced a number of supportive measures, include donations to advocacy groups. And as you can see here, you see the image of Celebrate Equality signs that represents the LGBTQ community. Whoever did this article is like, that y'all some real ones, okay? Shouts out to y'all. On March 28th, DeSantis signs the Don't Say Gay bill. DeSantis signs the controversial bill into law. Later, in a corporate tweet, Disney says it will still work to get the law repealed. So even though Mr. Governor DeSantis signed the bill, Disney said, not on their watch. We are going to repeal that mother trucker. So, Florida's House Bill 1557, also known as the Don't Say Gay bill, should never have been passed and should never have been signed into law. Our goal as a company is for this law to be repealed by the legislature or struck down in courts, and we remain committed to support the national and state organization working to achieve that. I think they crossed the line, DeSantis says in a news conference at the state capitol. We're going to make sure we're fighting back when people are threatened by threatening our parents and threatening our children. A number of GOP lawmakers began returning campaign contributions from Disney. So I wouldn't be surprised this thing go to the Supreme Court, because we're dealing with two entities at this point. April 19th, DeSantis targets Disney tax district. DeSantis says state lawmakers will consider repealing the governing structure for Disney Florida's properties. The special tax district is called Reedy Creek Improvement District, and it allows the 25,000-acre Disney World Resort to operate as its own county government. Disney's district spans 25,000 acres over 2 counties. It was created in 1967 to give Disney control over its property and exempt 38 miles of land Disney owns from most state and local regulations. It also allowed Disney to collect taxes following its own building codes and provide emergency services for the 16 parks and resorts. In other words, what this is saying, Disney in Florida is like it's like Disney and it's like two states in one. It is basically two states and one, in my opinion. That's how I'm reading this. Okay, that's how I'm processing this, because Florida has their own government. Disney has their own government. Okay, and as you can see here, this is the map of Florida. And then the Reedy Creek District, the boundary lines. You see the boundaries line in this peachy color Walt Disney World Resort. They have the Magic Kingdom, they have the Bay Lake, Epcot, they have Animal Kingdom, and then the here are the two counties, Orange and Osceola. I'm not even gonna butcher that name, y'all know what I'm talking about. And then the Celebration, and then there's the unincorporated region. So unincorporated region is basically like a township. Okay, all right. And then you got county, Lake County, and then Polk County on the other side. All right. Moving right along, it says April 21st, Florida lawmakers vote to repeal Disney's self-governing status. Florida lawmakers passed a bill revoking Disney's self-governing status as of June 1st, 2023. So that's literally 2 days. Wait, 29, 30, 31. No, that's 3 days ahead. 3 days. As I'm reading this to y'all, because I'm reading this on the 29th of May. They take less than 48 hours to write, debate, and approve the bill. Dang. And they moved in warp speed. My goodness. On April 22nd, Desantis signs the bill ending Disney's self-governing status, meaning DeSantis signed the bill into law and warns of more consequences if Disney does not end its diversity and inclusion program, meaning it is a hostile takeover. I am going to be the only ruler. Y'all are not going to be the in other words, DeSantis he's doing a hostile takeover at his finest. He wants to be able to govern everything and regulate everything that is going on in the state of Florida. Okay. On May 5th, Florida residents filed to block Disney district dissolution, meaning 4 Central Florida residents filed suit to block the Reedy Creek dissolution. They say it will hurt taxpayers, threaten thousands of jobs, and violate the Florida Taxpayer Bill of Rights and contractual laws and constitutional guarantees of free speech and due process. The suit filed on behalf of Michael Edward and Leslie Ferranda of Osceola County. Again, y'all know what I'm talking about. This county right here, okay? And Vivian Gorski of Orange County says the dissolution will make taxpayers responsible for more than $1.7 billion of Disney's debt. The 1967 law that initially created the Reedy Creek Improvement District forbids its dissolution until all bonds obligated are met and debts are discharged. The dissolution could raise Orange County property taxes by 20 to 25%. That is a large percentage, bro. Predicts Scott Randolph at the county, who is a county tax collector. I bet you he gonna get his money though. Just saying. May 11th, the judge dismissed the lawsuit, a win for DeSantis. The U.S. District Court Judge Cecilia Altanaga dismissed the lawsuit. The judge says the residents lack standing to file, the federal court lacking the standing to decide the question, and law does not take effect until 2023. So basically, this is like, I don't see nothing wrong with what DeSantis is doing. Therefore, I don't see us moving any further with this. On May 16th, DeSantis says Florida would take control of Disney. Didn't I say that, y'all? He was going to do a hostile takeover. Because again, Disney has their own taxes. Florida has their own taxes. I don't know if the state of Florida, since Disney has their own government, I don't know if the state of Florida collects anything from Disney, if you get what I mean. All right, but we can look into it. Otherwise, it says DeSantis says Florida will bypass local governments and take control of Reedy Creek. He says the state will protect Central Florida residents. And then November 20th, Disney brings back Iger as CEO. And this is when I brought this the previous article to y'all of Iger coming back from hiatus, as well as doing some movement and shakement around the Disney resort, scaling down and laying off. I don't know who has been laid off already from Disney, but that's what was being talked about at the time. So I don't know if they put a pause on it or they still went into effect with laying off the 7,000 workers, I believe they were mentioning at that time. But it says Disney brings back former CEO Bob Iger to replace Chapek, and says Iger will stay on for 2 years. Chapek had been criticized for his cost-cutting efforts, price increases at the theme parks, lower than expected revenue, and his handling of a lawsuit from Scarlett Johansson over her pay for Black Widow. His involvement with DeSantis feud couldn't have helped. So, in other words, they said Chapek was not doing enough for Disney, for the greater good. So they brought back Mr. Iger, and there is a sketch of him. December 2nd, DeSantis hints that at compromise for Disney. With Iger's return, DeSantis says a plan is in works, as the Financial Times reported that state lawmakers are working on a compromise to allow Disney to hold on to its special tax privileges with some tweaks. That leads into 2023. DeSantis, on January 6th, plans to state-controlled board to oversee Disney District. In other words, be an overseer to district. DeSantis announced a plan to take over Disney's special district by appointing a new board to control Reedy Creek. The board will be named Central Florida Tourism Oversight District, and DeSantis would name its members. The plan would shield local taxpayers by putting $7 million in outstanding debts onto Disney. Reedy Creek was previously led by a 5-member board whose members were essentially handpicked by Disney. Like, can I become a board member? The corporate kingdom has come to an end, DeSantis communications director Taryn Finsky tells Fox News. February 8th, Disney strips new board of authority. On the day before lawmakers voted to establish a new board, Disney makes changes to board's authority, limiting its powers for decades. Lawmakers and board members protest, but Disney said the agreements were legal and took place in public. All agreements signed between Disney and the district were appropriate and were discussed and approved in the open notice public forums in compliance with Florida's government and the Sunshine Law. A Disney statement said DeSantis' new district also prohibit from using the name Disney or any symbols associated with the theme park resort without the company's permission. The new Central Florida Tourism Oversight District does not discover this until the end of March. In other words, since Disney was like, since y'all want to basically take over our machine, that has been running for decades, y'all not gonna use our likeness, our symbols, and everything else unless y'all have our permission. Okay. On February 27, DeSantis signs bills taking over Disney board, unaware of Disney's actions. DeSantis signs a bill that gives him control over Disney's self-governing district. On March 30th, public learns of Disney removing new board's power. The news of Disney removing the board's authority becomes public. DeSantis loses ground to Trump in 2024 presidential primary polls. And this is just a poll of how Republican candidates are faring in the 2024 primaries. And Donald Trump, he is in the black. Ron DeSantis, he's in the red. Mike Pence, he's in the gray. And Nikki Haley, she's in the light gray. So far, Donald Trump is ahead on the poll as of May 9th, okay? Even though I'm recording this on the 29th. April 23rd, DeSantis calls for Disney investigation. DeSantis Disney feud escalate as the governor calls for an investigation into Disney, and Iger accuses DeSantis of pushing a corporation for opposing new state education laws, including Don't Say GAY measure. In April 6th, DeSantis says Florida will avoid Disney pact. DeSantis says Florida legislature will avoid Disney's agreement with Reedy Creek. Speaking at Hillsdale College, a conservative Christian school in Michigan with DeSantis is closely aligned. The governor said he will not relent in his battle with Disney. DeSantis says he is not giving up. He is standing 10 toes down on this thing. He is not going to stop until it is accomplished. On April 17th, DeSantis says prison could be built near Disney. Why would you want to put a prison near Disney? Where the children is at? Come on now. Why would you put a prison where Disney is at? Where a whole lot of children be going through. I thought this was about the kids. DeSantis announced a new legislation to assert control over Disney, suggesting that a prison could be built near a resort. The devil is a lie. Cut it out. Build that prison somewhere else, okay? What you need another prison for anyway? DeSantis says other plans include tolls on nearby roads, ride inspections, taxes on Disney hotels and property assessments. He says low cost in housing, other theme parks, or a prison could be built nearby. I would accept all of those things, but a prison to be built nearby a dang resort. Okay? Come on now. April 19th, Florida expands Don't Say GAY. The State Board of Education approves a ban on classroom instruction about sexual orientation and gender identity in all grades. And its expansion of law, DeSantis signed in March 22. On April 26th, Disney sues DeSantis for retaliatory actions. There we go. Disney sues DeSantis for unconstitutional and retaliatory acts and says the governor led a targeted campaign of government retaliation against Disney. The lawsuit alleges 5 violations of Disney constitutional rights by DeSantis, 2 free speech violations, a property rights violation, and a due process violation, and a violation of contracts clause. So as you can see, here are 5 board members here, folks in the suits, and you have the Disney silhouette in the background. Disney regrets that it has come to this. The lawsuit reads, but has exhausted efforts to seek a resolution. The company is left with no choice but to file this lawsuit. In other words, Disney said they have had it with DeSantis and we coming after you. A DeSantis spokesperson calls the lawsuit yet another unfortunate example of Disney's hope to undermine the will of Florida voters to operate outside the bounds of laws. Who said that? Cause look like you not in favor of the folks. Okay. Anyways, May 1st, a new board sues Disney. The Central Florida Tourism Oversight District Board, set up by DeSantis to oversee Disney's special tax district, sues the theme park to regain control over parks expansions. May 3rd, Florida lawmakers give the state authority to inspect Disney monorail. The state legislator approves a bill giving Florida Department of Transportation the authority to inspect the monorail system at Disney. The 15-mile monorail transports 150,000 passengers a day under an agreement with the Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services. Disney and other large theme parks do their own safety inspections. May 4th, Florida may let new board cancel prior agreements. The Florida state approves a bill that would let the Florida Tourism Oversight District Board cancel development agreements that were made 3 months before the board was created. Again, here's another poll on how Americans feel about the Disney and DeSantis dispute. Last year, Disney publicly criticized a Florida law that bans discussion of sexual orientation and gender identity in classrooms. Do you think Disney's actions were appropriate or inappropriate? In the red, it is appropriate. The light gray is not sure, and the inappropriate is in gray. The Republicans think it's very inappropriate. Most U.S. adults said it's appropriate. Democrats highly think it's appropriate. And independents, they're just like, eh. In response to Disney's criticism, DeSantis tried to abolish the special tax district that has enabled Disney World to essentially function as its own county government since 1967, then took control of the board overseeing the district. Do you think DeSantis' actions were appropriate or inappropriate? Of course, the red is appropriate, not sure is like gray, and inappropriate is in the charcoal gray. All right. May 8th, Disney expands lawsuit against DeSantis. The corporation amends its April 26th lawsuit to include its opposition to May 4th Florida bill and against state inspections of Disney World monorail. And May 11th, it seems like there's something going on every other day or every week. DeSantis signs the monorail bill. DeSantis signs the bill requiring the state Department of Transportation to inspect the Disney World monorail system every 3 years starting July 1st. Okay, I can agree with that. May 15th, pound and sand. DeSantis suggested he'll continue attempts to limit Disney's power in Florida. Sometimes you just need an executive to come in and tell them to pound sand. DeSantis tells the American Conservative in an interview. Okay. May 18th, Disney scraps the planned Orlando complex. Disney executive canceled construction of a nearly $1 billion office complex in Orlando. The building was planned as new workspace for about 1,000 Disney employees relocating from California. Okay, cool. Dang. Because again, they will have to report that information to DeSantis since he's trying to take over Disney anyway, right? And then, as of May 19th, DeSantis moves to disqualify judge in a lawsuit, with his attorney filing a motion in federal court in Tallahassee. May 19th, seeking to disqualify Chief U.S. District Judge Mark Walker from overseeing the lawsuit filed by Disney last month. Governor Ron DeSantis is asking that federal judge be disqualified from the First Amendment, a lawsuit filed by Disney against Florida governor and his appointees, claiming the prior statements in other cases have raised question about impartiality of the state's effort to take over Disney World's governing body. Y'all, this is a lot. It is getting ugly. It is getting ugly between Disney and Desantis. Like, I'm like, it's like every other week or every other day is like boom, boom, tit for tat, ping pong, tennis. What you gonna do? What you gonna do? What are you gonna do? I got this. What you gonna do? Like, it's a never-ending story. So again, that just leads to my question on where is the money coming from on DeSantis' end when he is filing lawsuit with Disney? Is it coming out of the taxpayers? Is it coming out of the taxpayers' funding, or is it coming from his own salary, or is there a reserve separate for that occasion, or what? Because again, Disney has that monster coin, y'all. They've been around since the 60s. So we just gonna have to wait and see on this. I want to hear your thoughts down in the comment section about this tornado effect with DeSantis and Disney. Are you in favor of Disney? Are you team Disney, or are you team DeSantis? Or are you on the team of this is some good stuff, and I'm just gonna sit back and see what is going on? Team popcorn. That's what we're gonna call it. Team popcorn. Because we pulling out the popcorn and we seeing a heavy hitter company, a heavy hitter entity going back and forth with a governor of the state where the company resides. Okay. And I want to know, Governor DeSantis, have you ever been to Disney before? I want to know, have you been in Disney before? What's your beef? What is your real beef with Disney besides you wanting, all power and control over the biggest entity over your state? I want to know. So let me know what y'all think about this in the comment section below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Woo!